Eala returns sparks ticket rush as PH Netfest nears. Tickets for the Philippine Women's Open (PWO) tennis tournament sold out just a day after Alexandra Eala confirmed her participation, as local fans rushed to see the country's top-ranked player compete on home soil. Organizers said on Thursday that standard and premier passes for the semifinals and final are already sold out, just 24 hours after Eala announced she would play in the WTA 125 event at the Rizal Memorial Tennis Center. Eala wasted no time upon arriving in Manila, holding her first practice session at the newly renovated venue to familiarize herself with the courts ahead of the tournament. "I'm looking forward to it, and I hope people can show up and support the Pinas," Eala said upon her arrival. "It's a huge milestone in Philippine tennis, and I think it's a big deal for all of us Filipina tennis players," said Eala. Eala flew in from Melbourne following her campaign in the 2026 Australian Open, where she made her main draw debut in both singles and doubles. The organizing Philippine Tennis Association, with the full backing of the Philippine Sports Commission, granted Eala a wildcard entry. "It's been a dream to have a home tournament," Eala added. "I'm so happy that it's going to bring a lot of inspiration for the girls back home." The Rizal Memorial Tennis Center now seats around 2,000 spectators after a month-long renovation, nearly triple the typical 700-seat standard for WTA 125 tournaments. For fans unable to get tickets, large LED screens will be installed around the Rizal Memorial Sports Complex. Tickets for the qualifying rounds on January 24th to 25th and the main draw from January 26th to 28th remain available through SM Tickets and at SM Ticket outlets nationwide. Limited on-site tickets will also be sold from January 24th to 28th. Tickets for January 29th, as well as all standard and premier passes for the semifinals and final, are already sold out. The PWO field will feature several top-ranked international players, led by Eala, who recently climbed to a career-high world ranking of number 49. She is one of 24 players in the draw who also competed in the Australian Open. The tournament is headlined by Paris Olympic silver medalist Donna Vekic of Croatia, Germany's Tatjana Maria, and China's Wang Xinyu, who defeated Eala in the semifinals of the ASB Classic in New Zealand earlier this month. Also in the field are Argentina's Solana Sierra, Japan's Moyuka Ochijima, New Zealand's Lulu Sun, and Paulina Kudermetova. Local fans will also get to see home Bettini Mides, the Philippines' second-ranked player, who will compete via a wildcard entry. When Alexandra Eala stepped off the plane in Manila, the buzz did not come from airport loudspeakers or crowd shouts, but from the murmurs of anticipation building across the archipelago. Her presence had already ignited a spark, and that spark quickly became a flame that spread through social media feeds, newsroom headlines, and among Filipinos who had long awaited a moment like this. For the first time in Philippine history, the Philippine Women's Open, a WTA 125 tennis event, is held on home soil, and tickets sold out within a single day after Eala confirmed her participation. What might have been a straightforward event announcement instead turned into a cultural flashpoint. It wasn't only about tennis. It was about homecoming, the magic of a homegrown star. Tennis is often a sport dominated by Grand Slam highlights played in Melbourne, Paris, London, and New York. But here in Manila, at the historic Rizal Memorial Tennis Center, the center court is suddenly the epicenter of local dreams. Built in an era when tennis was a pastime for the few, the stadium has now been renovated and expanded to nearly 2,000 seats in anticipation of what locals expect will be a carnival of athletic talent and national pride. Eala's journey to this point has been anything but ordinary. At just 20 years old, she has already chalked up historical breakthroughs, from rising on the WTA ranks to making her main draw debut at the Australian Open, where, despite an early exit, her matches drew enthusiastic fans and intense online attention. Her accomplishments off foreign soil are staples in Filipino sports lore now. A SEA Games gold medal in women's singles, breaking a long drought for the Philippines in that category, and serving as a beacon for a generation that yearns for representation on the global stage. The rush to be there. It sounds simple, a ticket to a tennis match. But to many Filipinos, it represented being part of history. Days before the tournament, fans queued in long lines, refreshed ticketing pages on their phones, and shared hopeful messages in online groups. Within 24 hours of Eala's participation announcement, standard and premier passes for the semifinals and finals were gone. For fans, this was more than sport. It was participation in an event many saw as signaling a new era, one where Filipino athletes are not just competitors but headline attractions. The rush was not simply about seats, it was about collective experience. Cheering from the stands, feeling the whack of a forehand in real time, and being able to say, "I was there when it happened." More than just a match. The Philippine Women's Open is more than a competitive event. It's a celebration, a Netfest, if you will, a festival where sport meets culture, where national pride meets youthful aspirations. Across the nation, watch parties are being organized. In gymnasiums of provincial towns, live streams will be projected. Even for those whose screens are smaller and whose towns are far from Manila, the energy is contagious. Family gatherings with snacks and cheers, conversations filled with statistics and hope, children imitating serves in backyards. That emotional resonance is what transforms a regular sporting event into something far deeper, almost ritualistic. It is the story of home, of identity, of possibility. Eala as inspiration. When Eala arrived at the newly renovated venue, she did more than step onto the court. She stood at the threshold of collective inspiration. In interviews, she spoke with humility and purpose, expressing her excitement to compete and her hope that her participation would inspire young Filipinas to pursue their dreams in sport. That sentiment resonates far beyond tennis circles. In schools and public parks, children practice serves and volleys with dreams of someday donning national colors. Coaches report increased inquiries for tennis lessons. Parents reminisce about their own aspirations, now passing those dreams down to the next generation. And through it all, Eala's example shines like a signpost. Greatness is possible, but context matters, especially if you can bring it home. Community and nation building through sport. There's a broader theme unfolding here. In a world where international competition often feels distant, and where global athletic stars may seem unreachable, Eala's return bridges the gap between global achievement and national identity. She isn't just an international competitor, she's ours. This simple truth has ripple effects beyond ticket sales. Local tennis clubs report surges in membership. Sponsors are investing more in grassroots.